Hello everyone, it's Ethereal Fox. Like most of you at this moment in time, or depending on when you're viewing this video, I can just say that right now I am still trying to comprehend the senseless assassination of the American conservative political commentator Charlie Kirk. I want to start off by expressing my deepest heartfelt condolences to Charlie Kirk's family, especially to his wife Erica and her and Charlie's two beautiful young babies. As a follower of Christ myself, I hope God keeps them close and that they know that the righteous will not let this evil endure, and I hope that God keeps them close within His good graces. The tragic event of Wednesday, September 10th, 2025 in itself is beyond egregious. And seeing the grotesque celebration and demonic glee that the fringe woke left has been portraying on social media and other forms of internet media has been utterly disgusting, and it has shown the true corruption of evil at its core. Mind you, I had no intentions of making a video about Charlie Kirk, but what I have been witnessing with this recent Charlie Kirk Effect worldwide has been the complete exposure of the level of humanity that remains in this world. Overall, if you celebrate the demise of a husband and father of two young children, I do not want you subscribed to this channel, nor will I entertain any response from you. The line has been drawn, and it will be drawn very, very explicitly clear. And I will expose anyone who happens to celebrate any celebration of assassination or untimely demises. And for these people, these complete imbeciles crying about losing their jobs all because they impulsively and cruelly celebrated the assassination of someone that they believed was out to get them or opposing their social construct of postmodernism or whatever political reality they like to claim. They chose to speak those cruel words. And the worst thing that happened to you was losing your job and being able to reflect upon the things that you said. A man died because of his own words, and all you can do is celebrate it. Absolutely sick. Some of these people choose to reject traditional narratives and thoughts, and that's their prerogative, but objective reality does exist. In this postmodernism of conflicting narratives, and there's no such thing as objective truth, it's just a stupid philosophy overall, and it's something we need to vehemently reject. I am going to say this and make this unequivocally clear to anyone who watches this video. If you are in celebration of Charlie Kirk's death, or any other innocent person's death for that matter, you are a person who is in need of dire and deep introspection. For those of you going on with your label tirade and calling Charlie Kirk a National Socialist along with its pejorative term of Nazi, far-right extremist, Christian extremist, racist, fascist, then you need to look at yourself in the mirror and come to know what those terms actually mean in its true definition. You are essentially and ironically the hate you swore to be against because you're so polarized to your one side. And I have no time for any of you so long as you remain in this state of mind of being completely delusional and unaware of the words that you speak and utter. If you wish to post your unfounded comments on this video in the comments below and essentially defame a man whose only action was to have an open and honest dialogue with people of all perspectives, all contrarian points of view, then expect to be called out on your nonsense, and I will expose you and make you accountable for your own stupidity. Let that be a caveat to you, if you can even understand what the term buyer beware means, as your extreme ignorance and lack of humanity will grant a form of buyer remorse that you will come to know well. I will also delete, block, and remove anything that falsely mischaracterizes any person, especially Charlie Kirk and his family. And if you target someone without merit, then expect your comment to be deleted. I make no apologies for that. When I first heard the news of a 30-06 projectile launched into Charlie Kirk's neck, I was in disbelief. Mind you, I have watched Charlie Kirk's open debates at colleges for quite some time, and I found him to be a very effective polemicist. With that being said, I did have some nuances and views when it comes to his stances on absolute gun rights, abortion, and objective reality in relation to Christianity and deism, respectfully. Overall, I do find myself in agreement and in alignment with a lot of Charlie Kirk's principles and goals in promoting freedom of expression, thought, and the right to have an opinion without being threatened or threatening others, or even coming to the terms of trying to even put an end to someone's life all because they have a contrarian point of view. Unfortunately, I watched the unedited graphic video where Charlie Kirk met his untimely end at Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah, and I don't recommend anyone watching it as it still haunts my mind, even just thinking about it right now. Speaking as a person who works in law enforcement and has had my fair share of seeing graphic violence and cruelty and tragedy, it's not something you want to watch. To think that Charlie Kirk's wife Erica or any of his children, family members, friends may have witnessed such a barbaric act of political assassination truly makes me feel ill to my stomach, ill to my core. And it just comes to thinking about how can people be so evil? I tend to agree with Cenk Uygur, the founder of the Young Turks, that you really do commit intellectual surrender when you resort to acts of senseless violence.
Charlie Kirk was shot and killed today. I can't believe he's dead. I can't believe it. I saw the video. I don't want you to see the video. He got shot in the neck. As we are taping this live, we don't know who the perpetrator is yet. We're going to give you a lot more details in a minute. But I want to start out by saying my heart goes out to Charlie's family. He had a wife, Erica, who I met in one of our appearances together. He has a 3-year-old daughter, or had, and a 1-year-old son. And violence is not the answer. It's never, ever, ever the answer. It is intellectual surrender. It's saying, I don't know how to win with my mind and with my ideas. Instead, I'm going to resort to violence, and that is a form of intellectual defeat. It is obviously immoral. It is, if you are in favor of violence, you are not on the left by definition. Ours is a peace movement. Ours is a movement of non-violence. If you believe in violence, you are not on the left and you are not for peace. What happened here was an unmitigated tragedy.
Mind you, I don't tend to agree with a lot of what Cenk says politically, but he is absolutely spot on when it comes to speaking against political violence. I suppose even a stop clock can tell the right time twice a day, but when it comes to political violence, or any form of violence for that matter, Cenk is absolutely right in saying what he said in that quote alone. This is what we all must understand when it comes to being a rational human being. Where God forbid this tragedy happened to Bernie Sanders, Cenk Uygur, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Andrew Tate, Justin Trudeau, or even Cenk Uygur's nephew. This wouldn't change the severity of the threat towards a free society and exchanging free thoughts, ideas, and collaborating for policies that would stand to benefit people as a whole. People must have the right to be informed of all ideas, philosophies, and beliefs, so they can decide for themselves what direction they want to take their own individual lives, and also to find a way to search a path that human beings can grow and evolve on their own merit. Free speech should always be that inalienable right that everyone should have, so long as it doesn't call for the harm and destruction of anyone who is non-violent and peaceful. When you resort to violence, you automatically lose the argument, and inevitably, the war for real change is lost. I tend to think fringe politics, no matter left or right, is an anathema to the human condition. However, I tend to have witnessed and have seen the fringe woke left be this metastasized cancer on Western society, and I make no apologies for saying that. Ask yourself this: when did trans kids come into existence? When did the concepts of gender fluid, non-binary, pansexual, and all these made-up nonsensical terms come into the mainstream modern thought and debate? I can guarantee you none of these concepts were ever spoken about or uttered so ubiquitously prior to 2010. I just can't find any evidence for that. I've been seeing some of these narcissists coming on social media platforms, whether it be YouTube or Instagram, whichever you prefer. It doesn't matter. It's still out there. They're on these platforms celebrating in this very peculiar glee that Charlie Kirk was assassinated, all because they had contrarian point of views. When you compare and contrast, say, the Black Lives Matter movement with what we are seeing with the current Charlie Kirk effect, there couldn't be more of a difference in the level of humanity when you juxtapose the two together. One side you see chaos, the other side you see people coming together with a sense of humanity and prayer. A complete stark difference. If there was one thing that former United States President Joe Biden was correct to say, he said there was a battle for the soul of the United States of America, but I also see this as a battle for the soul of Western civilization in its entirety. The West can be a pluralistic society so long as we can coexist with one another and not infringe on anyone else's personal lives or life journeys. The only assimilation that we need for people to accept is that every individual has a right to explore their freedom, their individual pursuit of life, liberty, and their own individual happiness, so long as it doesn't infringe on the rights of others and their own path in life. The main threat we have in Western civilization right now is the polarization of both the left and the right fringes and their pursuit of absolution. In my own political analysis and just observing world events in its entirety, I found that the fringe right has been more clandestine in their approach, as you have groups such as the Ku Klux Klan and white supremacist groups. They still exist, but they're not so out in the open in contrast to their fringe left counterparts. What is interesting is they have one thing in common. When you compare the fringe left and the fringe right, they both have in common the inability to listen to each other, the refusal to coexist with one another, and they are all about the annihilation of the other side. And it's all about just being obstinate in their own state of minds. They do not want to have like a dialogue to subsist. They all want to be right in their own ideologies instead of being effective. This essentially just lets them ensue in their own hatred, and it just goes against our overall existence as sentient human beings. When you have organizations, say like the far-right Heritage Front in Canada, Antifa, and the Ku Klux Klan, just to name a few, they should all be condemned, as they are not willing to discuss a common ground, nor is there any primary interest to have a sense of human progress and flourish into something that promotes a form of harmony and prosperity that all people can coexist. This is why we should always be vigilant and question everything, especially when it comes to fundamentalism and fundamentalists who want to pontificate about their ideal utopia. In order for us to make a difference, we must be able to accept that we are all different, but we need to learn how to coexist. To be able to accept that a person has a different point of view, but they have a right to pursue their own life so long as they're not harming other people. As much as it is disturbing to show you this compendium of absolute vitriol, hatred, disgust, and absolute low class of humanity, I think it's necessary for you and everyone to know the type of hatred that exists in this world. This is what I mean by the Charlie Kirk effect. Charlie Kirk's death has come to symbolize the humanity of people, what it represents as to the state of us right now as human beings. I just find that the lack of compassion from these people is absolutely disturbing. I don't know how anyone can absolutely celebrate the end of someone who was brutally assassinated and then have, like, a form of joy from it. I will just not understand it. But anyways, I think it's important for everyone to see this, as this is just pure evil. Here we go.
Talk to me about the environment in which a shooting like this happens.
Yeah, and again, to emphasize what you just emphasized, we don't know any of the full details of this. We don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea about this. But following up on what was just said, he's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions. And I think that's the environment we're in, that people just, you can't stop with these sort of awful thoughts you have and then saying these awful words and not expect awful actions to take place.
Matt.
And that's the unfortunate environment we're in.
Matthew Dode made comments that were inappropriate, insensitive, and unacceptable.
Oh yes, that is the most plausible explanation. There was a Charlie Kirk supporter in the crowd. He was in deep celebration of Charlie Kirk's arrival. And what did he do? He took his 30-06 rifle, he put it up in the air, and he launched these 30-06 projectiles in the air, and one of them happened to just fly into Charlie Kirk's neck directly. Oh, wow, that is Magic Bullet Theory Part 2, isn't it? So this person's name is Matthew Dowd. He used to work as an MSNBC correspondent. I'm not really familiar with his work, or I really don't pay much attention to left-wing media as I should, because most of it is just complete nonsense and just highly biased material. But he ended up getting fired for his comments, and rightfully so. What an asinine explanation. It just surprises me that people just can be so heavily biased in their views. If this happened to AOC, Hillary Clinton, or Bernie Sanders, I guarantee you MSNBC would just be on a rotation saying, this was a political assassination, this is a threat to democracy, and it would just be nonstop. And they'd be right to say that, by the way. But since this happened to someone that's not on their side or on the opposite paradigm of the political spectrum, they basically just said, well, it must have been one of your guys. Just completely stupid and irresponsible. And another thing, it seemed that they were more concerned about Jimmy Kimmel being taken off the air for his stupid comments saying, well, it was pretty much a mega supporter that did this. No, it wasn't. And rightfully so, he deserved what he got. Now he's back on the air, but I don't really think people are really gonna pay too much attention to Jimmy Kimmel now. Not as if they did in the first place, but I suppose the left-wing darlings have to have their outlet to basically take in their daily night propaganda, but that is their prerogative, I suppose. Oh my lord, I mean, this is just sick.
We apologize for his statements, as has he. There is no place for violence in America, political or otherwise. And tonight, President Donald Trump also called out anyone making comments demonizing those who disagree with them politically.
It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible.
Because I think there's...
Greg, come here. What? Greg, hold on for a second. Charlie Kirk was just shot on a college campus in Utah. Did you see what I just saw? Is it bad? Okay. Charlie Kirk was just shot at his campus in Utah. Why are you laughing? He is my friend. Your first reaction is to Charlie Kirk is a d, and you're smiling, and you laugh that my friend just got shot.
Oh, just look at these sick cretins. They're laughing over a person getting shot. At this point in time, it wasn't confirmed whether or not Charlie Kirk was dead. He was reported critically injured when this was reported. And all you can see, these imbeciles, they're laughing over a person that just got shot, is critically injured, and they think it's funny. Like, this is how sick the fringe left is. They take celebration over someone that is critically injured. Would they be laughing this happened to one of their own? This just shows a complete lack of humanity. They think, oh wow, well he basically was antithetical to my point of view, therefore it's great that he got shot for it. How sick can people be? Oh, and by the way, the person that's speaking here, the female speaker, her name is Kristen Hawkins. She represents Students for Life. She's an anti-abortion advocate. And she actually reminds me of an old neighbor of mine back in my old neighborhood, an old babysitter of mine. Oh, she was a really sweet girl back in the day and really, really nice person. And Kristen reminds me a lot of her. And her outrage is 100% spot on. She has every right to be angry over this. If this happened to a close friend of mine, and I see right in front of me these complete morons laughing over my friend getting shot in the neck, and my friend could potentially be dead, and all they can do is laugh about it. How inhumane can that be? You can't get more inhumane than that. And for these left-wing idiots celebrating this is why they need some deep introspection. They need to look themselves in the mirror and be able to say to themselves, am I really a moral person? Do I really care about my fellow human being who may not necessarily think the same way as I do, but maybe we can find common ground, maybe we can learn to coexist with one another? No, all the fringe left can do, and this is also the same with the fringe right as well, there can be no coexistence. We must annihilate our opposition because we cannot have our groupthink challenged. That's really what it is. It's all tribal. If you're not part of our tribe, then you must be annihilated. It just seems so primal. Yet, I thought we were evolving into being a civilized society, but it's more like we're devolving into just like our primal instincts of just being tribal and being part of a group and not thinking for ourselves. That is why individual responsibility and individual self-reflection is so important. We need more of that with people, to be able to think as independent people and not be influenced by the mobs. We need more individuality, that's for sure.
You had the audacity to laugh? If you think shooting Charlie Kirk is justified because you disagree with his political opinions, you need to study your heart. Abortion culture has led to a desensitizing of our nation, where we think we can shoot political enemies and we think it's justified. Do you guys think it's justified or a good thing that Trump got shot? Did you guys laugh? Charlie was shot in the neck, by the way. And you're laughing and clapping for it. What you all did, you're laughing. So today when we were setting up, someone said, "F those babies, kill them all." That's what, and you laughed again.
Charlie Kirk just got shot.
Woohoo! Yeah! Someone just died that I don't like! Woohoo! I'm just so happy! Yes! I bet you this person is what you would call a professional sedentary dweller that collects welfare, has nothing else better to do than to just watch TikTok videos, take in the narcissism of the fringe left culture, and be like, well, they all support my point of view, and I can just be on indefinite welfare for the rest of my life because I'm professionally disabled. The one thing I notice is they all look the same, these people. They all look the same. They either got like the septum piercing, that bowl nose piercing, whatever you want to call it. They got all these piercings in their faces, and they also have like this androgynous look to them, which is, you know, they almost look subhuman. And even the character is subhuman. I don't even think you can actually call them subhuman. They're not even human. They're just disgusting. Disgusting hellspawn.
A quick check-in after yesterday and all of the drama. I want to reiterate that it is not wrong or unethical or unkind to laugh at the misfortunes of terrible people. That Charlie Kirk incited violence. That's what he did. And then that came back to haunt him. That was his decision. So it's got nothing to do with the people who are laughing and joking about him becoming a human water fountain. If you want some perspective, I would strongly recommend this book. If you haven't already read it, it's not even that long, but it's really insightful and helpful to understand why it's so important for us to be able to laugh in the face of terrible things. I think we're all beginning to understand that Führer Netanyahu was never going to stop at Palestine, that none of this was our fault because nobody could have predicted what he was doing. He was playing a game of chess and none of us knew that he was playing that game of chess. It's not our fault. And some people are culpable and some people were pawns in that whole game. We were the pawns. We didn't know what the big picture was. Take some diversions, get away from things, art, literature, movies, sports, architecture, travel, all of those things. If you can get them, take them because we need that right now.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a self-righteous humanoid peacock who wants to pontificate on the virtues of Schadenfreude. So this humanoid peacock wants us to be people who have the ability to take pleasure in another person's misfortune, all because they are perceived to be a bad person or they happen to be inciting violence, inciting hatred, inciting racism, which Charlie Kirk was completely against anything that was violent in nature, racist in nature, or any form of prejudice. This person just wants to go on with saying that, well, Charlie Kirk was just a bad person, so we should be allowed Schadenfreude to be able to take pleasure in his assassination, his brutal murder, which is absolutely sick. So I see this person has in their bio that they're like a bioethics expert and also that they're into psychoanalytical theory, which is a theory by Dr. Sigmund Freud. So in other words, we should be allowed to celebrate this person's demise. And I just want to say this for the record. Charlie Kirk was critical of the Civil Rights Act, but the only reason why he was critical of the Civil Rights Act, it had to do with how it started with good intentions when it was brought forward. But then over the years and now within our modern time, it has evolved into this diversity, equity, inclusion bureaucracy where your sexual orientation, your race, and your gender identity, that takes precedent over your actual level of competency in your job. And one of the prime examples of that is he was criticizing pilots, for example. If he happened to see a black pilot and just do it the whole DEI criteria, he was starting to question whether or not they were competent in that position. And that's not necessarily being racist. Maybe that was not the best thing for him to say. I'm not a type of person that has that thought when I happen to see a person of a different race being a pilot. That's not my first inclination. But with the whole DEI policy, that was his main criticism. And he was speaking from a place of honesty, but that does not make him racist in any way, shape, or form. He was just making that point. And so you got this person, and then they're trying to go on like they're such like an ethical person, and the reason why I call this person a human peacock is because you take a look at their hair, just it's all styled like a peacock. It's all about, look at me, I'm just so showy and vibrant. But when you come to know the context of my supposed belief in Charlie Kirk's rhetoric, it's just pure nonsense, unfounded rhetoric. And that's one thing that you have to notice about these people is they don't substantiate their claims. There is nothing that can prove that Charlie Kirk was a racist, a misogynist, a person that supported violence. He was completely against all of those things. And I challenge anyone to be able to prove that he was those things. He was not. He was a person for peace. He was a person for pro-nationalism. And being a nationalist does not also make you a fascist or a national socialist. There's nothing wrong with being a person that's proud of your country and you want to be able to see the best for your country. And that's all Charlie Kirk was. He's pro-Christian, he's pro-nationalist, he's pro the American way of life. That's it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all.
A lot of people that are like, no matter what side of politics you're on, you should never celebrate something bad happening to someone. I, on the other hand, do cheer when bad things happen to bad people.
So I keep on seeing like posts about this Charlie dude, Kirk dude, whatever, regardless. And let me just say this. I'm surprised that y'all didn't get rid of him sooner. And I'm surprised that you guys aren't getting rid of more people. Like, don't stop with him. Don't let him be the end dog. Get rid of them all. And the ones that are above him. Your mayor. Your city councilman. What is it? Georgia Power? The people that keep on raising our shit? The CEO, get rid of them. Yeah. Like, what? It was so crazy. I watched like a 60 minute, whatever. Y'all know what I mean. 1 minute edit of like the things he said, and they're like so atrocious that like his wife deserves to go too. Y'all keep on talking about his wife and kids. They need to go too because they're carrying on that mentality and that lineage. Like, get rid of the whole family. I'm so sorry. Why did you guys stop with him? Why did you stop with him? Go get his grandma. Because who raised you? Like, your mom ought to be ashamed for breathing scum like you. Get rid of the whole family. Like, y'all too scary. Y'all too scary for revolution. Y'all too scary for progress. Like, y'all want results without putting in the work. You gonna have to take out trash to get a clean house. Like, it is what it is. If the trash can is stinking up the house, you gotta take out the garbage. Take the garbage out, y'all. Take the garbage out. All right. Not me. I'm chilling.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the tolerant fringe left. This last person, I can't believe that they're actually advocating for the elimination of Charlie Kirk's entire family. This person should have their account flagged. They should be reported. And this is sick. And they can't even talk right. Atrocious? Like, it's atrocious, lady. Go back to grammar school and learn how to speak, you frickin' idiot. The person before her, they're no better. So they just celebrate the demise of anyone that has like an antithetical view of what they have. So someone doesn't support progressive politics. That doesn't make them a bad person. And I'm not saying that every single person on the left supports violence. There are Quakers, there are pacifists that are completely against violence. They're like traditional 60s hippies. They're anti-war, anti-violence. The conscientious objectors are a good prime example. They may be against like certain aspects of conservatism, whether it be social conservatives, you know, but it doesn't make them bad people, and they have the right to have their point of view, and so be it. But this last person is just absolutely sick in the head. She's basically saying that, oh, you should have took him out a long time ago and taken out his family along with him. That's advocating for someone's murder. And how in the world can TikTok allow someone like this to be on their platform? And I'm just going to say this up front. I'm not for doxing people. I'm not for going after people that may have a different political point of view of me. I do not want them to be harmed in any way, shape, or form. I believe in debating with people, having a dialogue, like being able to have a conversation so that we can be able to recognize our differences, but also see that maybe we might have some common ground. But this last person, you're not going to find common ground with them. They can't even talk right. And then she said that, oh, I watched like a minute of his material and it was so atosis. What's atosis? Are you referring to mitosis, the process of cell division? Probably there's a lot of cell division in your head and that you can't even comprehend like words correctly. Yeah. There's probably like a hemisphere of this person's brain missing. Maybe probably they only have is just like a quarter of a hemisphere or less. It's possible this person has a compromised frontal lobe where they can't comprehend morality. This is just sick. Absolutely sick. And this is the woke mind virus in its purest form. Completely uneducated, cannot even speak proper grammar. They think that they're so intelligent and that they're so much in the know. This is the prime example of the Dunning-Kruger effect, where this person is demonstrating an overconfidence in their actual intellectual ability, and it does not match in parallel with their real competency. Their competency is really low in terms of their speaking ability. I cannot believe people just have this mindset. It makes you wonder if they're actually a real person or if they're like a social media troll. It's just astounding to me.
Charlie Kirk got shot and he's dead! Finally, somebody with a gun, which is almost everybody in the States, grew a pair and went and shot somebody on the right side. Thank you. Can we keep this up, please?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you do not believe that evil exists, this is evil in its most corrupt form. Right here. That is how evil looks and reacts to the most heinous atrocities. This person is an absolute atrocity. To my understanding, this person used to be employed as a legal aid for the province of British Columbia in Canada. And to think that this person works in a legal profession, or I should say now, used to work in a legal profession, this is absolutely sick. I wouldn't be surprised if this person happens to have the smell of sulfur and blue cheese. Reap what you sow, lady. While you're at it, I hope you find Jesus.
What? That's not very Christian.
So a guy just got murdered and you're going to stand out here and protest a vigil for him?
It's not a protest. I'm informing Catholics on his...
It doesn't matter. Somebody just got murdered. Do you not understand time and place? That logic just escapes you? You've got nothing better to do than come out here and do something like that. You deserve the spit on the ground you just got.
Well, breaking news, folks. Seems somebody just took a shot at one of the Fantafast's favorite 5-mile-wide mouthpieces, Charles Chuckle Kirk.
And that Chuck Kirk ain't took my job.
Well, they took our jobs. They took your job. They took your jobs too. They took your job. They took your job. They took your job. They took our jobs. Yeah, they took our jobs. They did. They took our jobs. They took your job. They took your job.
Hey loves, I want to expose a rather famous choreographer who is celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. I'm part of the dance world in Utah, and this man must be exposed. He is famous for being on Dancing with the Stars and comes to Utah as a guest choreographer and works with children. His name is Marquette. Well, hello there, Marquette. You are sick in the head. You deserve to be exposed. And you will be. So I'm going to explain what he said. I'm going to show the screenshots with the truth. He posted these images of Charlie Kirk as an alumni of the university where Charlie was murdered, saying, "Go Wolverines," and "Proud alumni." When he was asked if he's celebrating Charlie's death, he replied, "OMG, I am." Smiley face heart. My dance friend Ben sent an email to Marquette calling him out on this monstrosity, and this was Marquette's response. "I said what I meant and meant what I said. Kindly get off my dick." I'm from Utah. Charlie Kirk's death hit so close to home. So yes, I want to expose those sick people who are celebrating his death.
I have the best news ever.
What? Donald Trump died?
Second best news.
The vice president died?
Okay, third best news.
That Elon Musk died?
Okay, no. Nobody died. My best friend's getting married.
Which one is it?
Taylor Swift! Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce got engaged!
What? I'm just completely verklempt. I don't know really what to say to this. Obviously, I want to protect these young girls. They look to be 8 to 10 years old, respectfully. To think that to celebrate good news is someone died, the president died, the vice president died, Elon Musk died. I wonder what political affiliation the mother has. This is what the fringe left is. They are a death cult. They celebrate death. And you can hear the mother giggling every single time the young girl goes, "Oh, did the president die? Did the vice president die? Did Elon Musk die?" And then she's just giggling incessantly about that. That is just sick. And I'm pretty sure Taylor Swift is not her best friend. If anything, Taylor Swift probably has no idea who this person is. One of those things where they happen to live in this Hollywood reverie where they pretend that they actually have an association with the artist or the actress or, the performer in this case. Wow, I hope social services is called on this person. This is just sick. To think that you would allow your young children to embrace anybody dying, anyone of innocence. Wow. Like I said, I'm just overcome with emotion that a parent would giggle and just incessantly about this. This is sick. Absolutely sick. If this mother had any sensibility or moral fiber to her, she never would have posted this video to her social media. I hope for her two girls that they surpass their mother, that they're likely going to see this video maybe 10 or 20 years down the road, And when they look back on this video, I hope they think to themselves, wow, what possessed us to think such terrible thoughts and actually believe this was good news? I hope they become better than their mother. I really do.
Pro-gun advocate Charlie Kirk just got shot in the neck at his own debate rally. I try to avoid American politics if possible, but I've opened X to a bunch of little is crying and whinging about how political violence is never the answer. These people are gunning for politics that is inherently violent to its people. These people are gunning for politics that are inherently violent to a population. To marginalised people, to people who need access to healthcare. This is the same across the West. This isn't just the US. This is England too. I'm sick of this idea that you can't meet violence with violence. If somebody was smacking you in the face in the corner of a room over and over, you're going to hit them back. You have to. You're not getting out of that unless you do. These people do not care if you live or die. They don't. As long as you can work for them and make them money, and once you're useless, they don't care. They want you to die. Why is anyone condemning that? UK's Twitter account, so I need to address this because it's all getting a little out of hand. Let me firstly state that I am no longer at the Petticoat Emporium. My stall has been removed.
Well, frankly, that's what you get for being so irresponsible with your own words. Charlie Kirk did not advocate for violence. He didn't condone any form of violence whatsoever. And to suggest that anyone who supports Charlie Kirk, they should have harm done to them. You're advocating for violence against innocent people who otherwise would not want to do any harm to you directly. The only thing that can really legitimize any form of retaliation is legitimate self-defense. As far as I'm concerned, Missy, you got what you deserve. Best of luck on your future endeavors.
Band? I want to say Green Day. Neck Deep. His second favourite band? Nickelback.
Those are the two places the guy was going to hit.
True. Nickelback.
Neck or back.
He was really neck and neck for who I hated more, him or Trump.
Right now he's butt naked on Mortician's...
Jesus.
He's probably trying to tell them not do abortion.
So he'll find her, he'll come back to life to be like, make sure you don't abort anything.
Charlie.
Rest in peace, Charlie.
Charlie, you saying...
If you wanted to find the personification of no class at all, these two maggots are the quintessential definition of no class. Did they ever take into consideration that Charlie's children are not going to be able to have their father to be there to coach their sports team? Charlie's not going to be there in person when they graduate from high school, graduate from college, when they go on to their individual careers. To think that Charlie's own daughter is not going to be able to have her father be there physically to walk her down the aisle to marry her husband, that is so heartbreaking. And all these maggots can do is just laugh it all up right beside a trash bin and say, yeah, this is where you belong, Charlie. You belong in the trash bin. Oh, what disgusting maggots. Your parents must be very proud of you. And if they are, then it's quite likely that both of you are probably just some product of a drunken rump in the hay. I don't want to insult the parents because they're not responsible for what these maggots say and post on social media. But this is the mentality we're dealing with. These stupid fringe leftists. Wow. Complete low class.
Yo, that's crazy. See, that's why you don't share your opinions in a giant crowd like that. That's why you shut your mouth. That's why you just don't speak. That's why you don't speak unless you're right. That's why right is right and wrong is wrong. And that's funny. But I didn't like what he said, and I didn't like his opinions, and I don't really give a that he's dead. Okay, that was funny. Ha ha ha, very funny. All right, Charlie Kirk this, Charlie Kirk that.
And there you have it, people. If you don't have the, quote, correct opinion, unquote, then you're supposed to be quiet and not say anything at all. Or in this case, with this lunatic, you should just shut your mouth. No, we're not going to shut our mouths. We're going to speak loud. We're going to speak actual truth, objective truth, not your stupid my truth, which is just your subjective view of yourself and your subjective opinion. We're actually going to talk about the truth, because no one has jurisdiction over the truth. No person, no government agency. Truth, it's its own thing. Truth is universal. Truth is liberating. And the truth is going to set us free. And we're going to speak louder, and we're going to be much louder than you'll ever imagine.
First of all, they probably hated him, and if they didn't, they're better off without a man like that in their lives. Like, please be serious for 2 seconds.
Are these people slow? Like, honest question, because they get on the internet and they literally celebrate and make jokes about a man that was assassinated while having all of their business information right in their bios. Well, everybody, let me introduce you to Angelique, and let me take you to her work page, where she also has a link tree. And just so funny that you can leave reviews for her too, guys. Then you can go to the website and, click this little down right here, and then you can say contact. It's a good spot. Her Instagram, her business Instagram, which just so happens to be in my city. I think I need to go see an esthetician probably sometime this week. Nah, I'll just let the internet do what they do best.
You support a shooter?
Yep, sure do. Freedom.
You support Charlie Kirk shooter?
Sure do. He does all a favor.
Would you shoot somebody like Charlie Kirk?
I would have killed him myself.
You would have killed him yourself? Okay. Do you have a job here in Seattle?
Nope. I take that for a living.
A few moments later.
Oh, so you Trump supporters want to call my mom and threaten to kill my mom? Oh, yep. That's why I called the police on you. And I'm reporting you for doxing and harassment. You're going to prison, buddy. That's a federal charge. You're really going to call my mom and threaten her on the phone? Yep. Okay, I didn't want to bring the police in this because I hate the police, but now I'm going to. I have all the receipts. You are registration phone calls. You called my mom and said you're going to kill her? Okay, wait till I get home. I dare you, double dog dare you, to show up to my house. I will kill you myself. Don't ever threaten my mom out like that. You Trump supporters. You guys are pussies. You guys are going to dox my mom? Oh, you got me now. I'm pissed. Oh, you thought I was being nice now. I'm about to fly around and guys up. Oh.
Wow. This guy is an absolute douchebag. So you say you make TikTok for a living. Well, if you actually were a successful TikToker, then why is it you're still living in your mom's basement? I think it's time that you actually moved out of your mom's basement and start to realize what the real world is like. Get a real job. Be a productive member of society. Actually do something with your life instead of making these stupid TikTok videos and saying that, well, I would have done it myself. I would have done in Charlie Kirk because he absolutely deserved it. So you're essentially condoning a murder. You're absolutely sick, man. And you look like you're 40 and you're still living in your mom's basement? Wow, she must be very proud of you. Especially for the fact now she's apparently dealing with all these telephone calls threatening her life. I'm sure she's so proud to have a son like you, especially with all the crap that you're spewing. No class at all. Ladies and gentlemen, this guy right here is the quintessential loser. Do not end up like this guy. He looks like a 40-year-old guy who is still trying to figure out his own life, thinking that, oh, I'm going to make TikTok for a living and that's going to be my bread and butter for the rest of my life. Well, I can already tell, you got no charisma. You got no presence. You essentially have like a monotone douchebag voice where you think you're more than what you really are. You're just another one of these narcissistic TikTokers that you think that your opinions have validity, when in fact, all you're doing is just spouting a bunch of crap that really has no value to the world. How about you actually come up with something that has some value? Make a contribution to society. How about we build something together, something that's constructive, that we can be more harmonious with one another. Build people up instead of try to take people down. How about we not kick people while they're down, especially the Kirk family when they lost a husband and a father and a son. And all you can do is just say, oh, I would have done it myself. Yeah, I'm sure the police are going to want to help someone like you when you're publicly condoning an assassination. You're sick, man. And you even said you hate the police. Why should they help you? Why should anyone help you when you have no compassion whatsoever? Get a life, loser.
He's dead, y'all. Thank God. One down, couple more to go. He's dead. He's dead. He's dead. Bye, Charlie Kirk. Bye. Piss me the off. Bye. He's dead. He's dead. He's dead. Bye. Got shot. Not my problem. Bye, bye, bye. Call me hateful. I don't care. He deserved it. Bless. I feel blessed today, guys. Blessed. Bye, bye, bye. Bless. Bye, bye, bye.
Oh, you're an idiot because you condone violence? Yeah. No one's gonna hire you because you condone violence? Yeah. No education institution is gonna keep you? Yeah. You condone violence? You don't like diversity of thought? Yeah. Oh. I'm so blessed. Look at me. I'm so blessed. I love violence. Look at me. I love when people get assassinated when they don't support my point of views. Yeah. I'm just so great. Look at me. I'm a narcissist. Yeah. My opinions are the baddest. I am kind of supposed my point of view. Yeah. It's all about conflicting narratives because there's no such thing as objective truth. Yeah. I'm just so smart because I can speak gibberish. Yeah. The rules are blah blah blah. I'm Halloween. Yeah. I'm so blessed. Look at me. Yeah. Oh, I'm just so blessed. Up yours.
I want to dedicate this next one to an absolute piece of a human being. The pronouns was, were. Because if you touch, you will get Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk.
Yo, real quick. At no point during yesterday's show was Charlie Kirk's death celebrated. At no point whatsoever.
I want to dedicate this next one to an absolute piece of a human being. The pronouns was, were.
I did call him a piece of shit, that much is true. But at no point was his death celebrated. If it was, go find me a quote.
Because if you touch, you will get Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk, a piece.
You people always want to blame the left when it's always your people. It's always you guys. I'm so sick and tired of it. It's so obnoxious and insane that every time something happens, you people are like, must be the crazy left. The crazy left? The crazy left? The left that's always trying to make you understand that everybody should have rights, everybody should be respected, people should have free will over their own gut. Are you for real? You have to be, it has to be a mental illness. It has to be. Like, I know that the right likes to joke about, like, Trump derangement syndrome and how, you know, all these different people on the left are mentally ill. No, it's you guys. You are mentally ill. You're disgusting. And you cannot see who you are. There is no, it's like a bunch of brainless zombies just walking around repeating what they were told, think, and say. Figure your life out. Well, scream from the rooftops about how you have the right to do this and small government and no one's gonna tread on me, all your stupid bull. But then you literally want to tread on every person who doesn't believe in Christianity, who doesn't want to be heterosexual relationships, who isn't white. It's crazy. You and all the you believe, and then literally just goes directly against it when it's someone that you disagree with. That is mind-blowing to me. Don't you dare call yourself a patriot when you want to take freedom and rights away from people just because they're not like you.
You can always tell with the crazy eyes, can you? This girl is just out of it. At this point in time, I really don't care if I offend this person or not. This person is obviously living in a fantasy world. They obviously have not heard of what Black Lives Matter did during the pandemic. Right after George Floyd, they destroyed multiple cities, destroyed property just beyond belief, and it cost within the billions. Yet they want to go on about January 6th, and there was only one person that died on January 6th, and that was Ashley Babbitt. And they just want to pretend that, oh, well, left-wing violence does not exist. Well, why is it that Antifa is so frickin' violent? Why is it that they're always trying to shut down free speech? Why is it that they're so protective in protecting so-called drag shows or story time shows for young children? When did we ever need children to go to drag shows and listen to story time? It's absolutely sick. We're living in very troubled times, there's no doubt about that. But this person is absolutely delusional. They have no idea what they're talking about. I just think that they have like this blinders on both sides and they're just so hyper fixated on conservative bad, they're fascist, Nazi, over and over, and that's basically their mantra. They're just saying that over and over again to make themselves think that they're more virtuous. But it's just coming from this self-righteous narrative that is not based in reality. All you have to do is compare and contrast the Black Lives Matter riot with the vigil that they had for Charlie Kirk. It's completely night and day. You see one side devoted in prayer and coming together, wanting to find a resolution to move forward within a sense of peace, love, and understanding. You got another side that's just focused on hatred and destruction. If there's one thing about woke, it destroys everything. It destroys everything it touches. There hasn't been a creative element that's ever came out of woke. It's just this cancer that just leeches on to something that has had value all this time, whether it's like a piece of artwork or something like that can be a comic book or a beloved television show or a television series or even movies for that matter. Then you get these idiots that have to inject this woke virus and make it out to be this complete sack of garbage. It's like Donald Trump was right. Everything that woke touches, it turns to absolute. Stone Cold Steve Austin, take it away.